As we've been telling you repeatedly, today it's going to be all about individual stocks because you have plenty of stocks that have reported really good numbers post-market hour. So let's talk straight about that. SGX Nifty is indicating a flat movement. Anuj, what are the stocks you'd be looking at? So
two index stocks, Sonia, today, both financials. First is Yes Bank. I think I've been making this point that Yes Bank perhaps needed to correct a lot after that mad rally that it had all the way up to 240. And I think from that point, it's now corrected back to 20-day moving average. And yesterday in last hour, it bounced back and has crossed 200 once again. So it's now removed the excesses of the results day. And perhaps from here on, things could look slightly better. I think for slightly, a higher risk taking ability, people, you could look at Indiabulls Housing Finance. It's a stock which saw a big bounce in late trade. It's now half of its 52-week high. People equate it with what's happening with DHFL, but I think there's a bit of a difference here. And it saw some big pickup in delivery-based buying. I think it comes out with the results tomorrow, day after. So ahead of that, perhaps there could be some action in the stock.
Okay. Well, the stock I would watch out for obviously has been Axis Bank, and reasons are now known. Loan growth at 18.5%, rather NII at 18.5%. Domestic loan growth is 18%. Very good numbers. Margins are the highest in 6 quarters. So both volume and value are higher. NPAs are down, and the watch list is also down. Whatever extra slippages have come only from the watch list. But most important is the profit is 130% higher, at 1,600 crore. After setting aside 600 crore for contingency reserves. If you added that, it would have been an over 2,000 crore profit, and ROE promise from the market, from the management, the guidance is 18%, which will fire the street's appetite.
Yeah, I think it will. The only risk is the overhang of Sooty stake sale, because every time the stock is trying to break out, that risk comes back on table. But I think I take your point, Lata. Absolutely no complaint on the number front at least, and that's why the street should give it a bit of a salute. Perhaps a fresh 52-week high is in the offing. It's corrected. I think 680 was that number. It's corrected a bit from there. Perhaps at open you have a 52-week high. But Bank of Baroda also looked good, Abhishek?
Well, Anuj, it is a strong quarter from Bank of Baroda, with the loan growth being at 4-quarter high, led by domestic loan growth, which for the 5th quarter in a row has been above 15%, and it was at 21% in this quarter. The net interest margin on account of strong loan growth is at 4-quarter high of 2.7%. The slippages are the lowest in 9 quarters, and that includes a one-off slippage from IL&FS. So if you remove the IL&FS, the slippages are the lowest in last 3.5 years. The asset quality has improved, with gross NPA coming down to 11.01 versus 11.78, and the bank has made a prudent provision of 920 crore. As Lata mentioned, Axis has made a prudent provision. Even this bank has made a prudent provision. Only niggling worry, they have written off accounts worth 3,000 crores in the gross NPA. Back to you.
Okay, thanks a lot for that. So Bank of Baroda also good numbers. But Abhishek, what about Bajaj Finserv? Did the numbers look good?
Well, this time at least, unlike the previous quarter, they have reported a strong set of numbers. The general insurance has seen an uptick in the profitability thanks to the top line growth. So the top line over there has grown by 35%. That led to, operating efficiency, led to, PAT growing by almost 23% sequentially. The sequential decline in life insurance profit continues for 3rd quarter in a row. That is quarter-on-quarter profit decline. However, the persistency ratio has improved. The 13-month persistency ratio is at 78% versus 76% YOY. Back to you.
Okay, thanks a lot for that. Okay, so Abhishek thinks the stock could be in the green, that it has done well. Reema, there's no two ways about HCL Tech numbers.
Absolutely, Lata. Absolutely, Lata. It's a solid revenue performance. A constant currency growth of 5.6% sequentially is much higher than peers. Secondly, the management has said that now for the full year, growth will be at the top end of its guidance, which was a 9.5% to 11.5%. In the prior quarter, they said the growth should be towards the mid-end. So in a way, the guidance has been upped. Thirdly, the company said that booking value in the first 9 months of this year have been 40% higher than they were in the prior year. Valuations also compared to peers are much cheaper. It's trading at 12.5 times F520 PE versus peers at 14-15 times. And brokerages too are enthused by the numbers. CLSA and Credit Suisse up the target price. They've put a target price around the 1350, 1380 mark, which is a good 30% upside from where the stock currently is. So no two ways about it. All this point, HCL Technology should be in the green.
Okay, HCL Tech should be in the green. Thanks, Reema. Catch the management's interview with CNBC TV 18 at 8:40 a.m. later this morning. But we've been giving you a lot of good news. On the flip side, though, Godrej Consumers has spoiled the mood a little bit. Mangalam?
Absolutely, it looks like it, Sonia, because the company reported its numbers in dying hours of trade, and yesterday we saw the stock take a bit of a knock. Domestic volume growth of 1%, and this versus street expectations of 5 to 7%. The company attributes this to a high base, but the street was working with 5 to 7% on a high base, and its peer Hindustan Unilever reported a double-digit volume growth on a high base itself. The stock doesn't trade particularly cheap, 42 times 2-year forward earnings, and all the segments underperformed. CLSA has written, they said that the revenue growth was a big miss. Add to that, the management has said maybe going forward they are, working towards growing their revenue, but CLSA is in no hurry to chase the stock at current levels. They maintain their underperformed rating with the target price cut from 835 to 800. See a little more red on the stock today.
Okay, that's a little unfortunate. We are used to seeing good performance from Godrej Consumer. So for the market, that'll be doubly rattling because nobody would have gone short into the results. Ekta, you have a bunch of other companies with results.
Yes, absolutely, Lata. Well, I'll start with Bharat Financial. Good numbers coming in. NII up 24%. Profit also, which is up around 50-odd%. Disbursements, which are up 44.8% year-on-year. Granules, strong numbers coming in there. Revenue up 54%. Margins flat at 18%, but profit up 72%. MGL, where the company has reported its highest ever EBITDA and the profit, which is up around 9-odd% this time round. DCM Shriram, expect the stock to probably be in the green, revenue up 19% and a profit growth of around 6-odd%. Moving to other stocks and news then, Yes Bank should be in focus as Madhu Kapoor Group and Rana Kapoor Group have decided to nominate one representative director each on the board. L&T Tech and L&T in focus as L&T is going to sell 30 lakh shares of L&T Tech today via OFS. Cient, they're going to consider a buyback on Friday, and Asian Paints, commercial products of one of their Visakhapatnam plants has begun today, so that stock should be in focus as well.
Okay, thanks a lot for that. Well, let's move on. Anisha is also with us to tell us about a couple of numbers. Hitachi, Crompton, KC. Anisha, how did it look?
Well, Sonia, I'll start with Hitachi, wherein the top line growth was steady at 15%, but the gross margins for the company declined, and that's the reason it reported an unexpected EBITDA as well as bottom line loss. Deutsche Bank sees a 25% decline from the stock price, so let's see where it goes. Moving on to Crompton Consumers, wherein the revenue growth came in line at 10%, led by the durable segment, which is up around 16%. The margins are steady, though the lighting business was a bit of dampener. Lastly, on KC International, well, the revenue growth is again in line with the 10% growth, but that has been led by the non-T&D business, while the T&D business, which is core for the company, continues to lag. There is some stress in the working capital as well. They have toned down their guidance for FY20, bringing it to around 15 to 20%, so that might see a bit of red tick as well. Back to you guys.
Thanks a lot for that. Also, watch out for Jet. I mean, the news was worrying yesterday with some of the of planes getting grounded by the lessors, getting possessed by the lessors, and therefore the airline cancelling 19 flights. That will not be the only one which will be affected, and in the red you will also see the likes of SBI, BOI, PNB, who are all lenders to Jet, also a little under the weather.
Okay, and it's, I think, the third month in a row that the employees also have not been paid. So there's not only grounding of planes, but non-payment of salaries as well that they have to deal with. But here's a quick recap of our top stocks. Stocks with positive news flow are Yes Bank, India Bulls Housing, Axis Bank, Bank of Baroda, Bajaj Finserv, HCL Tech, Bharat Financial, Granules, Crompton Consumer, MGL, DCM Shriram, Yes Bank, L&T Scient and Asian Paints. While stocks with negative news flow, SBI, Jet Airways, Godrej Consumers, Johnson Hitachi, KC International and L&T Tech.